Hello guys, today I don't understand what is happening, but apparently I'm recording a lot of videos and I do not know for whatever reason, but I'll take the chance while I can and do more. With this video I want to talk about in terms of choosing a destination for traveling. And there's a lot of things we can talk about, so I'll be quite generic and brief with each of them because otherwise this will turn into a really long video. Um, First off, I would like to talk about in terms of your economy. Obviously, a lot of your traveling experience will depend on how much money you have available for that. There are many costs to take into consideration before you actually travel. You need to consider how much money to take to get from destination A to destination B. How many places are you planning to visit? How expensive is that country to buy food at? The inner transportation within that country or region, and so on and so forth. So basically, you need to do some research in terms of how much money you have available and how much generally you think you would need to spend on an average day. You can generally get a rough idea by visiting different websites such as TripAdvisor, where there is generally a section everywhere to tell you how much money you would generally spend in different cities and regions. But yeah, basically do your research and know how much money you have to spend. Um, Also, another thing you need to consider is the social stability of that country when you are visiting it, and also different events that have been occurring lately. I'm not going to say that you should definitely not visit regions that are slightly politically unstable. But the thing is, if you are absolutely terrified of going somewhere because well, there's been social revolts or because of the culture, or because there's just been some kind of uh, a terrorist attack or whatever the case may be, um, do take that into consideration before actually booking a trip to go there. Because really, when you are taking a holiday, it's either for your family or to have a good time, and generally for the family, you do not get to choose. But for holidays, when where you are going to have a good time, really, if you are so scared that you can not actually enjoy the experience, or you are so disgusted with the place, whether that's because of the climate or because it is too rainy or too warm, if you're not going to have a good time, generally I would recommend avoiding that region and going for something else instead. A third tip of advice, a third tip, a word of advice is for you to consider how different your culture is uh, to your own. And generally in the same country you have no problem. Generally in nearby countries you shouldn't have too much of a problem either. But this generally arises when you are going from different continents, and there is a substantial amount of people that can adapt really easily to different traditions. There are some people that are a little bit more conservative and they would like to keep their own. So depending on that, there may be some countries you may want to avoid in your particular case. For instance, you generally, if you are from the UK, you would generally have a much more similar culture to that of France than you would do to that of Thailand, for instance. So it just depends on your particular occasion. If you are quite happy to explore a completely different culture, that's probably one of the reasons you may want to travel. Definitely do that. And actually, traveling is one of the best ways to open your eyes to different cultures and be more open-minded. So do definitely consider that. But the thing is, if you know you're not gonna be completely fine with it, well, not completely. If you think you're not going to be fine with a different culture to your own, because of well, social connotations or whatever, generally do try to think of another place to go to. Now, you also need to consider, well, this is probably something that you have already thought about, but you need to consider how long you are planning to go to that region and when. Because the thing is, there are some regions where really the holiday vibe is really best at a certain date. For instance, Many people go to Spain during the summer because they are looking for the sun in Europe. So if going out winter, you're not really gonna get the same experience than you would do during the summer. So you need to take into consideration when are you going and for how long as well. Because the thing is, if you only have a couple of days, generally you should stay roughly in the same area. And if you have a lot of time, you can expand, definitely, but it just depends on how much time you have. Generally, I would consider staying within the same region if you are going to be a week or less, and expand a little bit more if you're going to be more than a week. But even then, yeah, it would be ill advised to really go straight too far from your original destination, unless you need to get a flight at a different airport or whatever transportation medium. So those pretty much cover some of the basic things in terms of choosing our destination travel. And really, the last thing is actually knowing what you want to visit in that particular country. Because the thing is, if you're just not genuinely interested in any aspect of that country, I mean, you can have a great time definitely exploring new things. But the thing is that, well, exploring a culture and place you do not have any idea about. But at the same time, if you have a rough, even if it's just a rough idea of what to expect, it does help a lot in terms of choosing what destination over another. If you're looking for a certain climate type or for a certain type of culture, like Germanic culture against, for instance, Romance culture, or Western culture against Eastern, or the Southern Hemisphere against the North, there is a really big amount of variability there. It just depends on what you are looking for. If you do have a rough idea of what you are looking for, it will make choosing a destination much easier. But basically, you need to consider the recent events going there, whether those are climate or social related. You need to consider your own economy, how long you are going to stay there, and when you are going there, and whether you actually are happy with the culture or region in general. Because, well, these are just some of the factors that you can take into consideration. Then there's the whole thing about being, well, your capability for getting around. If you are disabled or not, or if you are a certain ethnic group or another. I cannot really cover every single aspect, but the thing is, basically, if I had to sum this up, it's basically do some research and see where you are, or where you can go, and where you'll be happier to go to. And that generally will help you choose a destination you are happy with. Right, hope this helps, and have a great summer.